Alrighty, happy Wonder Wednesday, everyone. It's super nice to have you here with us back at the Floxies community. I hope you're doing well wherever in the world you're joining us from. And actually, if you're here watching us live right now, drop a comment in the chat. Let me know where you're joining us from and whether you're watching on YouTube, LinkedIn. I'm trying to keep track of all our social media. Um, Whilst we stream from our metaverse. And so, if you've been following our community for a while, you know that we use a cute little 2D space where we host our virtual office and where we stream our live streams from. And so I'm going to show you in a minute what that looks like. But if this is your first time here, we're Floxies, an international community for women in UX, UI design, and Webflow development. And almost every Wednesday, we get together here inviting influential speakers from either the design or the Webflow space to come and share some value inside of our community. And so, without further ado, let me show you the little platform that I was telling you about just now. So this is our gather town, as you can see probably. And also let me get into the chat. So again, if you're watching us, please let me know in the chat. It's always nice to see who's out there. And we like to keep our events as interactive as possible. So do engage with us because we love that. So this is the gather. This is what our virtual office looks like. We have a few rooms, few classrooms where our community members get together and learn. And this is our co-working space where we host our focus hours on a Monday. And so lots of good things for you to do if you join the community. And this is our auditorium where all our Floxies are. Welcome, everyone. Happy Wonder Wednesday. It's great to see you all here. And welcome to our guest, Samiksha. Hello, welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. I was really excited. Well, first off, to get to know you, Samiksha, because you're a lovely designer, a lovely woman out there who's doing so much good work and bringing so much value into the whole design community. And so it was really an honor when I received your request to come and speak here with us at Floxies. And I know that a lot of the girls that we have in the community will probably resonate with your journey. Which is, a self-taught designer journey. And there's a lot of people in our community that either come from, a completely different background, so career switchers, self-taught designers like myself, or people that also have a more traditional journey and background. But nevertheless, I'm sure they'll be able to sympathize and relate to what you have to share with us today. And it's great to see all the Floxies here as well around the room. Thank you all so much for coming, for making the time to be here and learn with our community. So, yeah, Samiksha, what should I get your screen up?
Yeah, I am sharing. So is that
Yes,
visible to everyone? Okay,
I can see
perfect.
that.
Okay. Yeah, so thank you so much. Thank you for having me today. And today I'd like to talk to you all about adapt, learn, and succeed, which are some key skills that I learned over the time during my design journey. And I'm hoping that you will have like some key takeaways and that will help you out whatever stage of design journey you are in. So I actually started my career as an interior designer, and my dad is an interior designer. And growing up, I would go to like these, I would see like beautiful houses, go to like housewarming parties and all. And I always thought that, like interior is like the right thing for me to do. But then my roommate, like growing up, like I saw like she was in graphic design, and I was like, this is so cool. I really want to get into like graphic design. So I literally took like two transitions during my career, even though they were like within design, but quite different. So from interior to graphics, and then from graphics to like product/UX, where I found like my happy place. And I remember like during my first job as a UX designer, like one of my colleagues, she asked me, she's like, why did you move from interior to UX? That's like completely different. And I'm sure like at that point I responded something to her, but then for next few days, I really kept reflecting on that question. And I finally came to a point, like UX is such an interesting field where this is my opinion, but I feel like soft skills are far more important than technical skills. You would go to Google, just, search like what are the key skills like for UX, and I'm pretty sure like the second or third number is like empathy. So if you have like the right mindset and the right skills, I truly believe like anyone can get into UX. So I want to make this fun. I have this number here, like 40.4. Anyone wants to take a guess what this number could be? Somebody from here, like Gather Town, or if somebody wants to post in like the chat.
Yes, please let us know. To me, that's just whenever I see 404, it's just a website that is not working, but I can see a dot there, so maybe that's not the right answer. Yeah, let's take some guesses. I can see people watching in the audience, so feel free to use the chat and interact with us. Floxies here in the gather, equally feel free to use the chat. And what do you think that 40.4 means? Career transitioners?
Maybe closer.
Page not found? Yeah, that's what I thought. Page not found.
Unfortunately, not that one.
What is it then, Samiksha?
Okay. So 40.4% of UX designers, and this is like US, are self-taught. And this is an interesting number because the other 60%, 25 to 30% have like some bachelor's degree, not necessarily in UX design. And then only like 25 to 30% of the UX designers actually in US have like some sort of like master's degree. So, this is another thing, like, anyone with the right skill, right mindset can get into like UX design. So my journey from really like from interior to like graphics to like product design was a roller coaster ride. Like I had like my lows, I had like my highs. There were times when I felt like, oh, I can do it. But there were also times when I had like so much like self-doubt and I was like, is this like the right fit for me? Like, like there are so many people out there like who are like better than me. Can I even do that? So it was a very interesting journey, like but the whole journey has been super fun. And that's why like I want to share like some key tactics and like some soft skills that really helped me get through this journey. So I want to briefly talk about like mentorship. Like mentorship was something which played like a significant role in my career. And I was very lucky. Like I found like two great mentors like who were ready to sit down with me. And now when I think back, I feel like I had like such simple questions at the time. Like, what is the difference between UX and UI and product design? Like I didn't understand quite well. And there were also questions like, like what is the salary range? Like, should I even get into that field? So these people really helped me understand like the landscape of product design and built like confidence in me. So I'm sure like we all have tried reaching out to people on LinkedIn. Maybe don't hear back a lot of times and all. So I want to like share like some tactic which hopefully will work. But like ask for 15 minutes to start with when you're trying to reach out to somebody. And there is nothing personal like if people are not responding back. Maybe they are stuck in their own problems. Maybe they don't have the time. But like 15 minutes is a really small commitment. If you say and position yourself in a way that, hey, I want to learn about your journey, like, can you hop on a call like for 15 minutes? That's a starting point to build that relation, right? And then second, like when you have like found a great mentor, like who's ready to like work with you, be transparent with them, so that they can help you out. Just tell them explicitly, like, what are the right things that you're looking for? Like, do you want to gain confidence? You want to learn more about like UX design? You want to explore like which UX stream actually works well for you? So being really transparent, you can get a lot of help from them. And the last one is really around like document your learning. So, and I've been guilty of this too. Like, like monthly or weekly, I would meet my mentors and I'll be like, yeah, this was a great session. But I have a short memory, by the way. So I really like documenting things. And I realized that 1 year back, if I go back and see that, what were my strengths at the time? Like, what were my weaknesses at the time? It just makes me proud, like how far I've come. Like, we don't remember really like how far we've come. So it's really important to have like your personal document, like a brag sheet, and really write it down. Like, what are you learning? Areas where you're improving, and some of these tactics can be really helpful for you to, find a mentor and really work well with them.
Samiksha, gonna ask you what do you use to document your learnings? Do you have a favorite tool or a favorite paper?
Yeah, I mean, at the time, I would just use like Word document. Like, I remember sometimes my mentor was really passionate about Trello. Like, that was another one because it really helps you like list out like key tasks or like areas where you're trying to improve. The other recent tool that I really liked is like Notion. I think
Mhm.
it's great, like the way like you can document things there, refer to it. So I mean, in terms of tools, I've never been like super opinionated. I feel like anything that works well for you, anything that's easily accessible for you, you could just open it on your phone anytime you have a question. Like that works for everyone.
Sounds good.
Okay, so next step for me was to really like lay the foundation and put like brick by brick, which really meant like building my UX portfolio. So I don't want to get into like a lot of details around like how to build your UX portfolio. I know there have been like great speakers like before me, like who really talked about this like in detail. But some tactics that I would really encourage you to do is that your portfolio will never be ready. Like I always felt like what, like I feel like I can do better. Maybe like the project isn't completed, but that doesn't work really well. Like set a timeline for yourself. Like whatever works for you, just say that what, if I have like 5 case studies, I will spend like 3 to 5 days per case study, and just stop there. It's completely fine, like once you have like the draft ready, and you can always have like that like in work in progress. The second one is really like tell a story. We are all humans. We connect with stories. So apply design thinking, because that really provides like a format to your case studies, and tell your story. Like, why did you work on this project? Like, what was the problem you were trying to solve? Like, what are the impact you're trying to create? Like we hear a lot about like data driven designs and including data, but how do you weave those data into your UX case study is a technique that can actually make your UX case study more powerful and strong. And really, like this is something, which I found it very helpful is that, we're all like user experience designers. Really ask yourself, like, how can you design your portfolio in a way so that it provides a great user experience to your recruiter? If you have a ton of content there, they might just get confused because there's a lot to read there. If you have too much visuals, it doesn't provide a lot of context there. So how do you find a balance and provide a great experience to your recruiter? Because trust me, they are not spending like over like 15 to like 30 seconds on your portfolio. The last one is really around like get feedback and practice. Like Floxies is a great community. I'm sure you have like tons of people out there. Like pair up with somebody, say that, hey, I would love to like practice like, my mock interviews. Like, sometimes even if it's just like your mom, your boyfriend, like your roommate, just tell them that, hey, listen to me. You don't have to give me feedback, because we have the power to reflect back when we speak in front of somebody. We can always go back and we know that, this is the area maybe where I need like more help, or I can improve like further. So like building UX portfolio is a project in itself, but make it like fun, like even in like the real world, like people who are already working, they can relate to this. Like your manager will give you like a deadline that, hey, can you complete these designs like in 2 weeks? And you have to stop there, even if you have like the urge to make it like better, but you have to give yourself a time to just say that, hey, I'll stop here. I'll have an opportunity to improve it further, but I want to ship it for now and see how people react to it.
That's really important, and it's a topic that we often, very often, comes up in our community and in our conversations. And I think we were chatting about this either this week or last week, and I told the girls that sometimes we justify the fact that we don't have a portfolio. We use that as an excuse, to say, oh, I'm still working on my portfolio, and so then that's why I'm not trying to do this or that, and I still need to finish that first. And that's sort of what we tell ourselves, and sometimes that process could go on and on for months, for years. Like, I know some, people could even spend years on their portfolio, but as you're saying, it's so important to just put something out there. It's going to be a process of, you're going to refine that portfolio many times, and you're going to edit it and change it according to different use cases and according to different clients that you're trying to attract. And it doesn't mean that what you're building today and what you're attracting today is going to be your forever clients, in 2 to 3 years, especially in the tech space that we're all living in. Things constantly change, and so the same way, your portfolio has to sort of mold and adapt with you. And so it's so important to just put it out there. I told the community, it's like your fishing net. If you don't put it in the sea, you're not going to catch any fish. You just need to put it out there. So yeah, really, really
Absolutely.
relevant to our conversations. So thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, of course. No, I remember like the first time I created my resume and I was like, I think this is perfect. But once I started receiving feedback and now when I look back, I'm like, oh my God, like there was like ton of work I could have done and like feedback really plays such an important role. Like launch and learn is a great, strategy we hear quite a lot, like in product development. Just go out there and see how people are reacting to it. And even after you apply for jobs, you always have time to, come back and like improve on it.
Hmm.
But the first draft has to go out. You have to give yourself a timeline.
Absolutely.
Okay. So after all this, I had like great mentorship. I was hired. I was hired as a UX designer at Shutterstock, which was a huge milestone for me because this is exactly the kind of job I wanted. And the next step for me was to really, my journey doesn't stop here. I have to remind myself that this is a continuous learning. And people often say that, you know what, I'm in probation period, like for 60 days, 90 days. This is like my great time, I can just relax. But I really say that this is the most crucial period of like your, job. And like you have to build relations, you have to reach out to people, like ask the right questions, like learn about the industry. And these are the skills that will take you far, like if they've hired you for a reason because you have the right skill sets and you need to take it far. Ask challenges within the team, like most people don't even ask them. So every team has its own challenges, whether it's your hiring manager, whether it's like your colleagues, like your engineers, just ask them like, what are you really facing challenges with? Like, is there something I can help you out with? And that itself will make an impact and help you like build a strong relationship with them. And then the last one, I always say, like, when I have like my one-on-one with my managers, I'm like, yeah, this is going well. Like, maintain a one-on-one document, like highlight like your wins from last 1 week. Tell them about like your top 3 priorities. Tell them about like your updates. Ask them if you have any blockers. Again, similar to like mentorship, document learning, I would definitely encourage that you can always go back and see that where you were in the first week, first 90 days, and after 1 year, like the kind of knowledge you've gained like over the time in the industry is really amazing. And then the second one is the key, like we always feel like, yeah, I ask questions, but asking the right questions is so important. And really ask questions around like whether you're trying to understand the product, trying to understand the challenge. I always encourage that, in the first few months or so, be a great listener because you may not have a lot of solutions, but you're still trying to understand the industry, the product. So the more questions and more right questions you ask, again, that will help you build strong relationships, but also tell your team members like how curious you are about like, the product you're working for. The last one is really like collaborate with others, and there's a hidden thing there behind it. When you design, when you share your designs early on with like either your engineers, your product managers, you can cover up and say that, hey, this is a work in progress. I want to put it out there and see how you react to it. And in the initial days, like I used to have a lot of self doubt, and I would feel like, you know what? I think my designs are really bad. I don't even know if I'm designing the right thing, But lean on people, like your teammates are there to help you out. The more collaborative you are, that's also like a key skill, Like it will help you be like a great team member, help you understand the space, and again, help you grow a lot faster in the team.
Hmm.
So after a few months, after all this, I was laid off. I was laid off
Oh
because
no.
COVID hit. It was pandemic, and this was literally me like sitting in like one of the corners and thinking to myself, like what do I do now? And at this point, I was in Canada. I was an immigrant, and I had no idea about like what's going to have happen with my visa. What do I really do? Should I just go back to my country? And that was another time when I had to really think about, like growth mindset. I had to keep pushing myself. So learn a new skill, like growing up, I didn't have an opportunity to learn swimming. And like in Canada, like during summer, like everyone would just go out, like in the water, and it would just make me feel so inferior. Like, I'm not able to participate. I'm not able to like go in the water. So learning a new skill at every age really challenges you. And again, it helps you build confidence that you can do it like at any point in your life. So, if you have like time, really learn about like coding, like pair up with somebody, whether it's your mentor, like somebody, at Floxies, just if they have like a common interest, like you can always learn about like AI, you can learn about like prototyping. And then think of it as like your part-time job. You don't have to spend like a ton of time, but even if you can dedicate like 3 to 5 hours a day, think of it as a part-time job. Like build your resume, like as simple as just explore like apps or websites that you really like. There are tons of books out there. There are amazing articles like on Medium, where you can learn so much. And then last one is the key, really remind yourself that not today, but soon. Like this is a temporary situation. Maybe I'm stuck in this position. Maybe I'm not where I want to be, but this is not going to last for too long. I will like really get out. So I want to dive deep into, growth mindset versus fixed mindset. I'm sure like a lot of people have heard about it. And I was truly like on the fixed mindset where I had like so many doubts and I was like, I don't think my designs are great. I'll never be that smart. There are so many smarter people like like in my company, like who have like master's degree, they have like a ton of experience, like, and I was very hesitant to take like feedback. Like if somebody would give me like critical feedback, I would be like, maybe I'm not a good designer. And that's why they're giving me feedback. So really shifting from fixed mindset to growth mindset was a huge milestone for my personal growth because it helped me learn that, it's completely okay if I'm making mistakes. Like this is like my learning journey, like I will improve with practice. And feedback itself like as a blessing, like if somebody is giving you feedback, it truly means they are investing the time to think about the areas where you can grow and where you can improve. So really like be grateful if somebody is really giving you feedback. So after some struggle, after really figuring out like what should I do with my life, I got second job at TD Bank, which was another huge milestone for me. So TD Bank is like one of the top 5 banks in Canada, 90,000 employees, big teams, big teams. And I was really excited, because they were really working on like some cool AI projects. And I was like, okay, this is perfect, I really want to go out there and learn about like all these new technologies and like work with like bigger teams. But again, like the journey doesn't stop here. So now I had to think that, okay, how do I level up? And one technique I've heard quite a lot is that you either learn or you earn. When you're picking a job, either it pays you a lot or it helps you grow, But I would truly say that if you're in the first like 5 to 7 years of your career, always choose the former. Like pick up a job or a company that helps you grow. I was exactly in the same position. I had like 2 job offers. The other one was giving me a much better title, same salary, everything was same. And at the last moment, I was like, no, I think the other job will help me grow. And if I see myself like in like 2 years, I think this is the company where I can grow a lot. It will challenge me a lot. It will help me like go farther in my journey. The next one is really like product thinking. Over the time, I've seen like product is really blending with like product design. So kind of like some of the product manager roles are similar to like product designers, and there's like an overlap. So if you have an opportunity, you want to level up, I would truly say that, dive deep into like the product you're designing for, like learn about the product, learn about like business cases, what kind of impact you're creating, how are they collecting data, like this itself sounds simple, but it takes a ton of time. But this is again another thing that tells everyone that you're collaborative, you're really thinking about like bigger scope and not just design. The last one is really like, business acumen. This again takes time, but understand your users as much as you can. And this is very, very difficult in the B2B space because you don't know, like you don't have the opportunity to directly talk to like your customers, but you have to find a balance that how can you talk to like different teams, like even like customer success team, like talk to them and say that, hey, your first point of contact to the customers, like what do you hear constantly like from these customers? Is there anything that I can take back and learn from it? Again, document these learnings because they are the key, and you can find like like some cues in there. And when you build knowledge, it automatically gives you like confidence. In my journey, like as a senior designer, when I just joined, I had like lack of confidence. I was like, maybe I cannot speak up. Like when I go to the meetings, people have much more knowledge than me. But there was a point where I reached out to like as many teams I could. And we work like in B2B space. Currently, I'm working for a crypto company, which is very, very challenging, very limited space, to reach out and like look for references. And also, these were my people, like my teams I could rely on and say that, hey, talk to me, tell me like what's the most frustrating point for our users, and is there anything that I can, really do to help these users out? So if I had to, give you like two key takeaways from this session, I would really say that grit and resilience. Think about the long-term journey. Think about your long-term goals. I'm so sure, like, as women, as men, like we all have like, our dream jobs, our goals, the kind of life we want to live. But that will not happen over the time. It's never a linear journey. Remember like the roller coaster ride, like you'll always feel high, you'll always feel low. But think about like the time when you'll really be there, when you have like everything and you need to work for that day. Like prepare yourself for the day when you will be in that right position, right title, right company. Like what can you really do today to get to that point is like really like the key takeaways that has helped me. I have a long journey to go, but honestly, like so far it has helped me reached here, made my design journey smoother, like just having like the right mindset. Another one. Anyone wants to take a guess? Like, what is YCDT?
You can do it.
That's right. That's perfect. Yes, it's truly and really like, whatever stage you are in, whether you're looking for a job, you're in the job, just starting out, you're stuck, you are laid off, or you want to level up and you feel like, I don't know where I'm going, I have no direction. Just remind yourself you can do it. Like, the time is never going to be the same. You can truly do that. So yeah, I have like some resources here which were really helpful to me like over the time during my design journey. Like if you're preparing for your UX portfolio, there are some links if you're starting out. So I'm happy to like share this tech with you all. And like I would say like, join as many communities as you can. Like I'm sure like a lot of people know about like ADP list. Like that's another platform where, I've found like great mentees like who've been so passionate about like, building their portfolio, and I can truly see that they are really growing out in their career. There are other communities. Floxies is like a great community like for women. So really, like rely on each other. Like we are humans, like we can truly rely on other people to help us out in our journey. So yeah, thank you. That was like really short list of soft skills and like tactics that really helped me out. So I'm open to take any questions.
Absolutely, and thank you so much, for sharing your journey. It's so inspiring to hear, and I really loved your metaphor with the roller coaster because it's such a roller coaster of emotions as well. Nikki is very excited about your talk. Awesome. Let's open up the floor for some Q&A with the community here. Um, and I know that we have lots of people as well that are currently looking for a new role, and so I'm sure that all these tips that you've been sharing with us today will be really helpful to them. And if we could get access to your slides, I can link them in the community. That would be amazing as well. uh,
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. All right, Floxies here, as per usual, I give you priority. So people in the room have priority. Obviously, people, if you're watching on YouTube and LinkedIn, feel free to drop your questions in the chat. Actually, I'm gonna open the Q&A right now. There you go. Drop your questions in the chat. And people here from the Gather Town, you can put your hands up, get on camera, get on mic. This is your chance to interact with our speaker and ask all the questions that you have. So let me know if anyone here does have a question. You can do this, raise your hand, show me an emoji, whatever. Put it in the chat if you don't feel comfortable using your mic or camera. And as you start thinking about your questions, I'm also gonna pull up the form that we have from some people that attended the session today. Okay, so as I don't see any hands just yet here from the gather, I'm gonna go with the first question that we have here from Gori. How do you deal with a creative block?
Yeah, I have it like so many times, and I would really say that, engage yourself like in activities outside of your work. And I'm guilty of it. I've been working like 12 hours and I feel like, this is like the right way for me to do. And there are so many times and I'm like, I can't even think about like design. Is this like even like the right thing to do? So really two things, like A, rely on other people who you can trust and be like, hey, you know what? Do you want to jam together? Like I'm really stuck. I can't think through this. I need a fresh perspective. So truly like your community, like your people are the ones who can help you out to get out of that. The other one is that we really burn ourselves out. Like, we feel like, oh, why can't I even think about this like right now? So, just go out, like do some other activities, like, like swimming, like running, whatever works well for you. Like talk to like other people, like just go out like for a simple walk or something. That has really helped me. Like just like last week, I had like a really busy week and I came to a point where I'm like, I can't think through this. And I took like Friday off. I'm like, I'm just going like for a haircut. Like I need to go to the beach, just go for a walk or something. And even though I thought that, yeah, I just took like a day off, but it truly created such a big impact on me. Like Saturday, Sunday, I was feeling like so much fresh. And I was like, yeah, I'm ready to go back in again. So, just don't really burn yourself out and really look out for like other activities. I also feel like, and this is just maybe like for me, but hands-on activity really helped me out. Like, like if you love like painting, if you love cooking, like cooking is like my time and I just go like off screen and I'm really focusing on, like smaller details, and it's a craft in itself. So really I would encourage you to do like some activities which can completely take you away like from your work, and you'll always come back fresh.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I do see a question here from the Floxies. A question from Nikki. What is something that you do to prevent yourself from failing, no, from falling back into a fixed mindset?
That's a wonderful question. I would say fail forward. Like we all fail. Like we all fail. There will never be a time when we won't fail. And even in my current job, like a lot of times we are in big companies where it's male dominant. There are more stronger voices out there, and we are our biggest critique. And there are so many times we feel like we are failing, but actually we are not. As long as we are doing our job, our truly our job is to be like the advocate like for users, like working with like other people, like understanding the requirement. As long as we are doing that, we are good. And it's not always going to be a time that your motivation is going to be peak high. There are so many times when I feel low, and you just have to be consistent. I really think of your like duck. If you think about like duck, we feel like maybe it's not moving, but it's really keeps paddling like underneath the water, and that really helps like the duck like get to the point where she's trying to go with her family. So I truly feel like like spend time with your family. Like even if you're failing, it's completely fine as long as it's helping you grow. Like sometimes I have taken like some freelance projects where like the client wasn't happy about it, and I'm like, okay, it's fine, it's not just me, maybe it's not just aligning with their needs. So I can always go back, talk to them, clarify things, document your learnings, and then it really helps you get out of that fixed mindset and be like, I'm learning and I'm growing. As long as I'm doing that, I'm fine, I will get through this.
Keep flowing. We don't like the water to be stale. We like it flowing. Um,
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that question, Nikki. Keep them coming if you have more. We have a question from Gail, who's actually an ADP list mentor. So she's asking, how are you promoting yourself?
Truly, I'm not promoting. In fact, there are like times when I don't even have time to like take up mentees. But something that if I have to prioritize my work, if I have to prioritize, there are a lot of mentees who on a recurring basis they reach back to me. That is something that really impresses me, because you're really dedicated, you're working on the feedback, you're coming back to me. So I definitely try to prioritize myself, but by no means I don't think I can promote myself. Like just like you all, like I'm also like in this design journey, where maybe I'm failing every day, but I keep reminding myself that, I'm growing, and I will get to my goal. So here really at Floxies, like, so I'll tell you a little bit of story. So I was born and brought up like in India, like in a very conservative environment. My family wasn't super supportive of my career, at least in the beginning. But I had like high aspirations. I wanted to do something different, like be super independent. And that was the thing that really kept me going. And I felt like, like mentorship has played a key role. Like there are people who have played a key role in my life. And if I can even create an impact on like one person through this talk, like that's success for me.
Absolutely. I love that so much. We're very impact driven here as well in the community. And it's so important to have people like you come up and speak about their journey and being a part of what the movement that we're trying to build together, because I'm sure you are, creating an impact for other people. So thank you so much, for, again, for bringing that value into the community today. um Let me get another question. Lots of questions for you. How do you keep yourself on track when it comes to self-taught learning? What learning resources do you recommend?
So this has really changed over the time based on the stage and the like stage of design journey I was in. Like when I was really just starting out, like there's this great community called like UXPA, and I started volunteering, like just helping out, like small thing, like just like helping them with like events, like set it up. Like I would just be there like 1 hour before. So that was like my thing, just to stay connected with those people. So that was really when I was just starting out, and I was looking up to like a lot of people who can help me out, like guide me. And because I was very dedicated, I was spending a lot of time, like it really, they made me like a part of like their working group, which was like a huge step for me, because then I was really sitting down with like some senior people and really learning from there. So that was my learning when I was just starting out and trying to break into like UX. And then after that, like, like when I was laid off, let's say, like I was still kind of like in that early career like journey, I would pair up with my mentor, like he was trying to learn coding at the time. And I didn't have like an experience in coding. And we were like, do you want to dedicate like 1 hour every day? Just sit down together and see how you're doing. At times he was doing much better than me. Like there were times when I was doing much better. So we would just help each other out and push each other. So, I mean, the learnings have been really different. The strategies have been really different based on like the stage I am at. In my current role, like crypto is a very, very complicated industry. And, I have to spend time like after work, like really like watching YouTube, like how are people investing, just to even get an understanding of like their mindset. And my goal is slightly different from, when I was just starting out, like maybe like 7 or 8 years ago. So in terms of like tools, like resources, I would say I really love like Medium. I love like HBR articles like Harvard Business Review, because they are really catered towards how you can excel at your job. It's not just about design, but sometimes it's about like how can you create an impact. Like it's a tough thing. Like how do you collaborate? How do you really, work with your team members, learn from that? So what are the strategies that other people have found it helpful? So some of these articles, sometimes I would like watch like YouTube videos. I love listening to podcasts. Like Lenny's podcast is like one of my favorite one, where he talks a lot about like product, because I'm really trying to get deep into the product thinking area.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. Question from Aga here in the community. And again, girls in the gather, I encourage you to come off of your shyness, get on camera, ask questions on your mic, build that confidence. But I'm gonna ask this question for you, Aga. What's a piece of advice that you wish you had taken to heart earlier in your career transition?
That's a great one. I think just being more open. I felt like now, if I look back at my younger self, I'm like, I wish I had taken more risk. I think I had built up like a cloud in my mind that, what, maybe I can't do it. Like I was really scared to even put myself out there, like talk to other people and all. But there were some things that really helped me build that confidence. And it happened like over the time. Like I participated in a hackathon where there were like, I think, thousands of people. And it was like we didn't win or anything, but it was a great learning experience for me, because that was the first time when I was truly sitting down with like other people and learning from there. And that was how I really met like my first mentor, and he saw like I was really passionate and I was trying to learn into the industry, and he's like, I'm happy to guide you and sit down with you and tell you about like lean UX, like product thinking, like any of the topics that you're interested in. So that was something that really helped me out in my journey.
Amazing. So maybe I should just like pick random people here and get them on a live stream, get them to present.
Yeah, that's a great way. And trust me, like I'm learning too. Like, like if you have feedback for me, like I'm happy to take that. But putting yourself more out there, just saying that it's fine. What's the worst that will happen? It's, people won't even remember. It's just you that will remember, Maybe in this presentation today, like I know if I, miss something out, but you would not even know. So that's the learning for me, like just go out there. Like even if you fail, you're failing forward.
Absolutely. And it's your story as well. You're the owner of your journey, your story, your learnings, and anything that you might have experienced could be something completely different and new to somebody else. So it's a growth opportunity for whoever is listening to you. Like today, I'm feeling very grateful again that you're here because I'm learning about your journey, and I'm learning a ton, and you're just giving me a lot of hope and willingness to keep on working on my own confidence as well. So it's really important for us to just get together and support one another and push each other. Kyla, is that you coming out of your comfort zone?
Absolutely. Can you hear
Yay!
me?
Yes.
So my question here is, um, I also do not have formal training in UX. And how do you, what are some things that helps you get out of the imposter syndrome and feeling like, oh man, I didn't have XYZ like this person. I don't have those experiences. Like, how am I going to make it in this industry?
That's an important one. And honestly, I asked this question to my mentor. Like for the longest period of time, I think I was seeking for validation. I would ask people that, hey, how important is like formal training? Like, should I take like some UX courses? Like, should I, because everyone, like most people around me, like whichever company I was in, like they had like some sort of like master's degree or like bachelor's degree and all. But because I didn't have the degree, I pushed myself too hard because I felt like, I need to compete with these people. I have to go farther. So I would really, they say like 9 to 5, you're working for somebody else, but 5 to 9, what you're doing is really for yourself and that will take you far. So I really dedicated, time for myself. Like I was like, every day, even if it's like 1 hour, either I would listen to like some YouTube videos, and at the moment, I used to watch a lot of like Harvard iLab experience lectures and all. They have like it open. Stanford has like some great lectures out there. So I would just watch that. I would listen to like podcasts. I would um, just read like articles, like, go through like different UX case studies and all. And it happened over time. But I felt like, yes, I was learning, I was getting there. And actually, if you see like, any master's degree or anything, the key thing is that they really help you with two things, like A is networking and two is building your confidence. Everything else, I feel like we're living in a world where everything is available on internet. You can just go out there, you can learn on yourself, but you really have to be dedicated to yourself and say that I need to do this today for myself because I want to live that life, like 2 years, 3 years, 5 years down the life.
Thank you.
Amazing. And
I want to add
Kyla,
like one more.
go on,
I
go
I
on.
was talking to them today, and I read this thing about like another woman like who was also facing imposter syndrome, and she said that what, I promised myself that any meetings I go to, I'll speak at least one time, and every time I do that, I'll make a star on the copy next to me. That was like my motivation. That at the end of the day, after working like 9 to 5, I would see like how many stars I have, and that reminded me that I can do it, like I can speak up. It's okay if it's like a simple question, but at least I put myself out there, built my confidence.
So you get a big star for today's question, Kyla.
Yes.
Awesome. And I don't actually know if I can share my screen because I'm sharing so many things right now and this might break the whole system here, but let me see if I can share it. Can you see what I'm seeing?
Yeah.
What do we say to the
Not.
imposter syndrome? Not today.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kyla. Rosemary, you got a question?
Yeah. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
So as a fellow career changer here, do you recall any moments when like mentioning your interior and graphic experience was beneficial for you or pulling from your learnings from there?
Yeah, I mean, so remember the story I was telling you? Like, so many people ask me, like, why did you move from interiors to like UX? Like, that's like completely different spectrum. And I think that something that really helped me out was like, I would definitely go out and tell people that I am from interior design, because A, it tells them that I've taken like a huge transition, and it's nothing to be guilty about. It's really telling them that you can start anywhere and you can be anywhere you want. So I would totally say that, if you're career switching and all, you should definitely put yourself out there, say that, This is where I started. This is where I've come. And then the key thing is really like building the right skills. Like as a UX designer, if you can constantly think about like the pain points of the user, like you can really have like the right mindset. You can really like talk to people, ask them about like frustration. What do they really need to, how can you improve their experience? Those are all the right skills, like soft skills that you can have, and then everything else becomes secondary. And trust me, after a few years people will stop asking you that question.
Does that help?
Yes, a lot. It comes up a lot too, and I always think of how to phrase it, but it's very beneficial to hear from someone that also changed careers a few times. So.
Nice, amazing. Thank you, Rosemary. Good to hear your voice as well. We still got a couple minutes, if that's okay. A few more questions.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We're really getting all the juice out of you today. We've got more of a technical question, or more. I can sense somebody a little bit more advanced here. Teresa Novoa or Teresa. What's the sector, in your opinion, in which the understanding of usability is more maturely applied and understood? So, yes,
Yeah,
a sector that really values usability.
Yeah, so of course, like it can vary for everyone else. Like in my earlier career, I was really exploring like different industries and seeing like what really fits well for me. But for me, I think I found my passion and love like in finance industry, like fintech. And I'll tell you the reason why, because I feel like financial well-being is so important. Like at least in my culture, like in every culture, in fact, like finance or like, really managing your finance is such a key thing, but it's a taboo. Nobody wants to talk about it. Like people feel like it's such a private thing. So my dad would not talk to me about, how he's managing his finances, and we would never talk about that in our family. But of course, like growing up, I would just look up like on Google and see that where should I invest? Like how should I manage my money? Like what's the right percentage of, saving from my income and all. And I felt like if I am feeling this thing, and if I can create an impact in like the finance industry, because that is so critical, there's a lot of emotions involved in it, I think I can create an impact. And personally, I really like working in an industry which is not super mature, but you can create an impact there. So financial technology is a huge one where every, at least these days, like everyone is going to like their mobile applications, like website, and like moving like their money around like in like clicks. And so, I feel like if I can create the right experience, if I can do those usability testing and learn from like people how they really think about money and how we can improve the experience, that's success to me. I truly feel like I'm making an impact in that industry, which is not so mature, but I can truly utilize my skills in the right direction.
I love that so much. I think it's really important. Not enough people talk about finance and finances, how to build your own finances, That's a topic that is still very not so widely spread, and we could definitely raise a bit more awareness around it. Absolutely. Financial well-being is super important. I also just shared your LinkedIn profile with everyone here who's watching us still and in the community. I highly encourage you to go ahead and connect. This has been absolutely fantastic. So this has been Samiksha Makhijani for you, everyone. Please go ahead and connect. It's been such a pleasure to have you here as our guest. And I guess my last question for you would be, what's next on your journey?
Well, the journey will never end. I feel like even if I, become like old, like in my 80s or something, I think the journey is never going to stop. But I have to keep reminding myself that, I want to learn, I want to keep growing, I want to get better every day. And I am like my own competition, like where I was, like when I just started. If I can get like even like 1% better every day, I think that will like take me so far. And that just builds like confidence me, nothing else about like anyone around me, but it's just me telling myself that you're doing good. You can do it. You keep moving forward. You just need to keep growing and learning every day.
YCDT. You can do it. I like that. I like that so much. And also, you're a brand new member of our community, so I'm sure we'll see more of you in our Discords. Oh, that I'm so happy. People around the internet, if you want to support the community, please do like, subscribe to our channel. Our community is completely free. As you can see, we try. At least I think we offer a lot of value here every week. So do go ahead and give us a little bit of love. All right, everyone. I hope you'll have a fantastic day or evening, depending where you're joining us from. And I'll see you all in our Discord. Thank you all so much.
So much.
Bye. Thank you.